Hey, welcome to the Worderella Writes podcast with me, Belinda Kroll. I write and illustrate cozy fantasy romance, and this is a little sneak behind the scenes. I am so glad you're here today. Hey everybody, so this week I am actually recording this from inside my car because after watching enough TikTok videos, it seems as though this is the best place to have good acoustics. So we're going to try it out. This week I'm going to talk about book 3 and some of the tools that I'm using to make progress with book 3. I'm going to confirm questions on whether there are more books in the Hesitant Medium series and, just otherwise reflect on what might happen after the Hesitant Medium series. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, so let's dig right in. First off, I have been looking for a tool that would help me write. I have a very specific requirement. I want the prose on the left and I want the outline or story beat on the right. I want it in the same program. I don't want to have to hop between programs and hop between windows and stuff like that. I have a weird abhorrence to Scrivener, so even though that is the go-to for most novel writers, that's not cutting it for me. And I've tried other tools in the past, but this one author in my fantasy romance Discord group, it's not my group, but I am a member of it, suggested Novel Crafter. And so far I am delighted and it's pretty affordable. So that's one tool that I'm using. It does exactly what I want, which is I created an outline of the different beats, story beats that I need to hit in an Uncanny Bargain. I like to use the Romancing the Beat outline from Gwen Hayes because it just lets me know what are the different milestones within the romance story that I need to make sure I cover in order for it to read as a romance and have the happily ever after that is a satisfying conclusion to all the stuff that we have experienced throughout the story. So that's very exciting. Another tool that I've been using is I found a tool that will help me. Sorry, I know words. I found a tool that will help me with my outline. I do like to use Romancing the Beat. I am not, however, a good outliner. So even with a framework, I still don't really use it correctly. So I put my existing outline into a tool, and with its help, I rearranged some scenes and I also filled in some gaps that I didn't even realize were there, which then led me to, okay, cool. This is so much better. I'm so much more excited now because, the thing about outlining, and I consider myself a pantser, but I guess I do need some sort of milestones to work toward, is, with a spirited engagement, I wanted to improve the craft. And by doing that, I did improve the craft, but I struggled with maintaining the humor that people loved from Haunting Miss Trentwood. So my goal for an Uncanny Bargain is to not only improve my craft, but also retain the humor that we had in Haunting Miss Trentwood. I think that's going to happen because an Uncanny Bargain is all about accidental two souls sharing one body and all of the hilarity that can come from that. We have a ghost who his body is sleeping upstairs, but he can't seem to stay in his own body. And then we have a medium who doesn't have full control of her powers and mistakes happen and romance ensues from there. So I'm way more excited. I actually just came from writing about 1,400 words at this local coffee shop that I love. They renovated an old abandoned church. And so there's beautiful stained glass windows. They cut up some of the pews so you can have a single chair. So it's that delightful worn in wood feel of, 100 years of people sitting on that pew. And then they have delightful loose leaf tea and they have amazing lattes and sometimes they have kolaches. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they're like Polish dumplings and like a Polish dumpling that's been fried instead of boiled or baked, I guess. And then I like to get the one with the bacon and the egg. Anyway, I feel like I'm going off course here. Point is, I feel like I'm coming into a routine where now I'm hoping to crank out 1,500 words a week as possible. People have been sick in my home. We've just had a lot going on. So it's just very encouraging to get some words down and to be laughing at my characters as I'm writing the words. It's been a long time since I've had that. And, with everything going on, 2025, boy, did it have a start. So, whatever I can do to sort of keep my calm and hold on to whatever joy I have, that's what I'm going for. 4. We're kind of leaving everything else by the wayside. I know people have asked how many books are going to be in the Hesitant Medium series, and there will be 4. I've decided there are going to be 4. In the way that Haunting Miss Trentwood almost might be seen as a prequel novel to get us set up, but then a Spirited Engagement is really when the Hesitant Mediums really begin. So the 4th book is going to be, I think, about Madame Sylvia, our medium that we've been sort of hunting for in the sidelines. She is actually a pivotal character in the short story Miss Preston's Predicament. So if you haven't read the short story, that's okay. I'm going to reintroduce the character in book 4, and she is also going to have a ridiculous plot line. I think this is going to be a falling in love with your own husband plotline, and the fun that comes from she used to be a con artist, but now she actually can talk to ghosts. But in order to get the client that she wants, she has to be a proper married woman. So she has to go get her husband that she separated from years ago, who still is a con artist. And again, hilarity should ensue. So I am not only working on book 3, but I'm catching snippets for book 4 because I keep having these funny little scenes hop into my head and I don't want to lose them. So I'm excited about that. I've also drawn some chibi versions of Edith and Drew, which are our couple from book 3. I was really struggling with drawing them and like regular human proportions. I have like 3 fairly nice romantic poses, but I just couldn't get their vibe correct. They're not meant to be sad, but they kept coming out sad. So I drew them in chibi versions, which is essentially to say that I drew them in little, like if they were a 2-inch figure. This is something that happens with anime a lot. And actually, if you've seen my stickers for Haunting Miss Trentwood and A Spirited Engagement, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So after drawing those little stickers, oh my gosh, boom. I suddenly had a much better idea of Dhruvesh and Edith, and they both have glasses, and they're both annoyed by ghosts, even though Dhruvesh kind of is a ghost. He's a half ghost. I don't know. Anyway, I'm having so much fun with this. So all of that has been really exciting. It's been so nice to get back to writing and to find some tools to support me rather than, struggle with the tool or have it get in my way. And now that I have a cleaner outline that will help me, I think, again, it's not really an outline. It's just sort of like, make sure this happens and make sure that happens and make sure it kind of happens in this order. So I guess that's an outline. I just don't like to call it that. I don't know. I guess I'm just weird like that. Anyway, even as I'm working on book 3 and I have most of that figured out, now I just have to write it. I would love to hear your ideas on book 4. And if you have any dreams of a story where you have a medium that was a con artist, but now is truly a medium, and her husband who is still a con artist, but now needs to be her husband again in order for her to get this big client. What are some of your favorite falling in love with my own husband books or movies or TV shows that I could watch to help research that dynamic for book 4? Let's see. Otherwise, oh gosh, I read that book by Timothy Underwood, the Mr. Bennet's Daughter. It was good. It was surprisingly philosophical and theoretical to the point where sometimes I was jumping paragraphs because it's like, I actually don't need to know this theory, this philosophy that they are currently debating about, but it's very sweet that Darcy and Elizabeth are able to debate each other on this level. And it was very compelling to read. And it definitely had more of a Jane Austen vibe in that there really was like there was one hug, there was one kiss on the forehead, very tender moments, and I think well prepared. Like I wanted those moments when they happened and I felt that satisfaction of, okay, they're opening up to each other. So again, those are the sort of things I'm looking for, but with the lens of the heroine falling in love with her own husband and vice versa. So if you have any, please let me know. Come to the Patreon, come to the show on Podbean and leave some comments. And otherwise, I hope that your mood reads are great. Whatever you need to do this week to maintain a little bit of calm, restfulness, sanity check. If that means go sit in your car and talk to your phone for 10 minutes and then return to your family, whatever you need to do. I hope you make time for that this week. I hope you take care of yourself. Go drink some water. Maybe have a nice Earl Grey latte. That's what I'm about to do. And otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me today. You can find my signed and illustrated editions, bookish merch, and bullet journals for writers on my website, Wordorella.com. Regular editions of my fiction are available at libraries and all major retailers. Wordorella Writes runs as a single annual season with roughly 10 episodes running from January to April each year. Connect with me, Belinda Kroll, through the reader poll in the show description, on Instagram as Wordorella, on Patreon as Wordorella, or my website, Wordorella.com. That's Cinderella, but with words. If you enjoyed this episode, support the podcast by sharing it with a friend, leaving a 5-star rating and review, and subscribing so you never miss an episode. And until next time, take care, and may all your mood reads be excellent.